Hello and welcome. Today we are at Gardens by the Bay and we are here for the Jurassic World experience. Now this thing is absolutely outstanding. The animatronics here are enormous, but because they play the Jurassic Park theme tune all the way round, it will have copyright music. So what we will do is I will do a voiceover when it comes to the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World bits and pieces, and then when we are walking from one bit to another, I will just find some copyright-free music. So as you can see, you pay your ticket, you go straight through, nice and simple, and then you go straight into the cloud forest. Now this is where the doors open up, and you are met magically with the huge waterfall. But what they have added this time, well, apart from the Jurassic World Experience logos on the left and the right hand side of the entrance, is the dinosaurs. Now, some of them are animatronics and they move. You've just got to imagine the Jurassic Park theme tune blaring away as we are listening to all these little bits and pieces, and it does sound very, very good indeed. Now, you have got lots of different bits and pieces. You can see that there are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, as we come down, 16 different sections of this area that they have added in especially for this experience. Now, this is day one. The experience opened up on the 29th of May, and I was very, very lucky enough to be here on the 29th of May. So if you are coming here at a later date, let me know how it compares. Let me know if you managed to get your photos and what you think of the huge T-Rex that they've got and a few of the other little bits and pieces as well. It is a beautiful walkthrough. Now don't forget, it's not just to do with all the dinosaurs. There is obviously all of the normal bits and pieces they've got by Gardens by the Bay, but they've added in all these extra information, and of course there's lots and lots of little Easter eggs dotted around everything. And I do believe they have added in some extra plantage of bits and pieces of what the dinosaurs used to eat, and there's lots of different information about everything. I did find it very, very interesting indeed, and I can imagine this will be extremely busy in the next couple of months. But as we go around, like I said, I will go quiet and I will let you listen now to some copywritten free music, and then I'll catch back up with you in a little bit as we get a little bit further in to this Jurassic World experience. So the next section on the experience for this tour is the meet and greet. Now the staff were absolutely fantastic with regards to remembering all of the lines, because don't forget again, this was day one, so they're just figuring out all the different bits and pieces. Now going by the images on the website, I do believe that the people that do all of the sort of meet and greets do have different dinosaurs. However, the one that this young lady is holding is one of them that you can buy at the gift shop at the very end. Now, in the distance, you can hear huge roars. Now, I will do my very best when we get to the T-Rex just to go quiet just for 2 or 3 seconds, just so you can hear the animatronics working, because it does sound very impressive indeed. But I think the best thing, like I said, that you can do is just add your own Jurassic Park theme tune as we are going around. So as we carry on going, you can see just how big this thing is. There's lots of information dotted all over the place, and of course, there's plenty of places for you to sit down. Now, as you carry on walking in a straight line, it will fork off to the left and again off to the right-hand side, where there are 2 different experiences to have a look at and lots of photo opportunities. Now, there is more than one animatronics here as well, which is obviously you've seen in the screen grab, which is one of them, and obviously the T-Rex is the other. But I was shocked by just how big the animatronics were and just how amazing everything worked. Now you can see again, if you want to pause this for obviously reading all the different bits and pieces, then please feel free, but I did have to pan around as quick as I possibly could. Now, as this video is just under an hour long, I haven't slowed down any of the footage either. Now, as you carry on walking now, the roars from the T-Rex just get louder and louder, and then you just see the amazing animatronics breaking out through the electric fence. So I will do my very best, like I said, just for a few seconds, just to add in those little bits and pieces. But I have found a little bit of video where there is no music playing, because it did just play on repeat, and then it stopped, and then it played again. And it was very loud as you first came in, and every 2 hours they then do the mist to water all the different bits and pieces, and it did give a very good atmosphere. Now, you saw the T-Rex in the distance. They're talking about the chaos theory, so if you are a fan of the original film, you know exactly what this is all about with regards to how you do it for yourself for the water. I am a huge Jurassic Park / Jurassic World fan, and I am more than thrilled that I managed to get here. So that is the T-Rex in question, and it is a beast. As we start to pan round, it is a full animatronic with the leg and the tail, so you can see all of that. So I'm going to go quiet now just for a few seconds, so you can hear this thing roar, and then hopefully I'll catch back up with myself in a sec. How amazing is that? Now, like I said, it just roars and roars. You can see as it opens up its mouth, it just carries on. Now, I think it goes quiet for a minute or so, and I think the lights and everything go off, so then the music starts to play again, and then just sort of alternates around from one zone to another. So you do feel very much so immersed with all the bits and pieces that are going on, but there's lots and lots of detail that is in this. Now, you saw who it was done by, and I think it's also the same people that do all the little bits and pieces at the theme park Park as well, because as we get a little bit further on to the experience, when you get to the raptor cage, and also you see Blue and all of the others, the detailing from this to Universal Studios is very, very similar. Now, originally, I thought this was to celebrate the new film that comes out in a couple of days, but all of this is to do with Jurassic World, and then the merchandise is all to do with Jurassic Park. Now, everything to the left-hand side is actually where the leg is, and then the tail carries on. I thought it was just sort of covered and cut off, so obviously I start to pan around and we just see some different bits and pieces from a different view, and then all of a sudden you can now see the tail and everything is moving, and there's lots and lots of detail within that. There's little scars across the face, you can see all the rib cage and everything like that. So I just hope that this animatronic lasts all the way through this sort of experience, because I don't know how many months that this thing is running from. So this is some of the different bits and pieces that the dinosaurs will eat, I do believe, and it just gives you an understanding of the year that those things were available as well. And they have seemed to have added a little bit of bits and pieces in front of the cage, and you can see you've got all the different bits and pieces on there with regards to what they actually are. So again, if you are into your plantation, you could spend a huge amount of time just learning all about the dinosaurs' diet. But again, I'm going to go quiet now because we're about to carry on walking around, and I'll catch back up with you at the next exhibit. moving on to the next perfect photo opportunity. And you can see it says the lift to the Lost World because you actually got to go all the way up. And there is an amazing set of Jurassic Park gates, which is where I think I'm going to be catching back up with you in a second. But with regards to this, you can just take a good step back. It'll be difficult for you to get a photo here when it's busy. Like I said, this is day one. It's out of season as well, so extremely lucky. And we did manage to get here quite early in the morning, just actually before they actually closed it, because it was closed for a private event and then it opened back up again. But again, you've got all the details with regards to what the meat eaters are, and of course you've got the T-Rex, which is carnivore, and it gives you its diet. Now there's lots of these dotted around all over the place. I know I would have missed some, but I did do my best. Now, the other amazing thing was it started to rain really, really heavy on the outside, and it did give it a little bit of an atmosphere as well. But like I said, every 2 hours they do a spray mist, which you will see in a little bit when we actually think that starts to happen when we go through the Jurassic Park. Next section. So we have got Dino DNA. Now, again, if you are a fan of the film, you should know all about this. And if you've actually seen any of the Universal uploads from Florida, well, we've seen this in huge detail with regards to how all these little bits and pieces work. But you have got the Dino DNA. Now, this is a pretty cool thing, but you've got all the different eggs in the incubators just there, and there is a screen showing you basically the different processes of all the bits and pieces that are going on. This is very much going to be a case of pause and read it for yourself, because it started to get quite busy in this corner, so it did get a little bit difficult to try and film some bits and pieces. But like I said, I thought I would have had time to slow it down, but because the video is so long and how much effort is involved to try and slow it all down, you're just going to have to pause it yourself. But you can see, long story short, the mosquitoes got stuck in sap, and then obviously they found all the little bits and pieces, and then they managed to get the DNA from the dinosaurs out of the mosquitoes that had obviously bitten the dinosaurs, and then that is all to do with the blood, yada yada yada. So you can see there, insects, dinosaurs, stuck, tree sap. That is basically the gist of all the little bits and pieces that you need. Now, this area here was great because you had this little bit, and then you go for a nice little walk, you go down the escalators, which again I will catch back up with you in a minute or two's time, and then you've got some really nice interactive experiences before you get to the Jurassic Park gate. Right, on to the next section. This is where you could spend quite a bit of time. Now, you can walk in a straight line, or you can then obviously go in just here and turn right, and you can get some really nice bits and pieces for your social media, Instagram, and just have a little bit of fun. Now, this is actually the first time I've seen this myself in person, because this area was closed when I came here last, which was just over a year ago, because they were in the process of doing all of this out again, and you can see just how interactive it is. So you walk around, you stand on where the feet are, then it shoots off up onto the wall, and then like that, up it goes, and then it will do different bits and pieces. So if you're quick with your camera or quick with your phone, it does look very, very good with regards to the little bits and pieces that you are going to be doing. And of course, you can walk all the way around and just get loads and loads of them going, and you can get a lot of people in this room. Now, just out of this room is where the Jurassic Park gates are. Now, that is a huge, huge photo opportunity, and of course, loads of people were queuing up to get that bit done. They have got, which I personally think is in the wrong place, a photo opportunity with a difference, but because they've got it just beside the Jurassic Park gates, nobody's interested in that. They just want to get their photo taken with the Jurassic Park gates. So let me know, like I said, if you are coming down in the near future, has any of these bits and pieces that you're seeing in this video moved ever so slightly? Because of course this would have just been a trial and error with regards to day one, and that looked beautiful, because that is a room full of butterflies, which will happen from time to time, and then it carries on with the floor, and you can do those little bits and pieces. Now, as we come back out, you will then turn around, and then you will see the Jurassic Park gates. Now, you will see the gates twice, because we ended up doing a full loop, and then we actually clear walk to the gates and managed to get our photos taken, which is great. So you see, just to the right-hand side, there are two members of staff. One of them is with a camera, and there is a photo experience. That is one of the things that you saw on the board. But it does make it out the photo experience is actually for this Jurassic World gate, or it's not. You can just walk around the corner. It is very, very well hidden, and there's like a little photo stage where you can get your photo taken, and obviously you pay to then get it all printed off, and you can just have a completely different backdrop from the different films, and you can have a professional backdrop of the Jurassic World as well. Now, no, this is what I meant about the mist. This looks insane. And as we start to walk around, well, you will see some of the other animatronics. And as it starts to get misty, it looks very, very special. So that just there is what I used for my screen grab. So we are now going to go into a little bit more music. Again, I do apologise. It's the best copy-free written music I could find. And I'll catch back up with you in a little bit of the This part was also very special as well. Now, this member of staff, just like the other one, did a fantastic storytelling. But of course, this is blue and it's all to do with the training of the different bits and pieces. Now, you could get some amazing photos for the room before if you wanted some. And then obviously you could just listen to the whole show. But again, because music in the background, I couldn't upload it all for you. Now, we are going to move on to the secret garden, which is a impressive looking thing. And then if I remember rightly, we will finish the video in the store. So we are on the final stretch. You go through two different sets of stores, you say goodbye to the staff, and then you come in to the rather impressive shop. But I am not interested in anything that is not to do with the Jurassic Park or the Jurassic World experience. And if you are eagle-eyed, you will see it in the far corner. So we're going to ignore everything else that Gardens by the Bay has to offer with regards to the fridge magnets and the different bits and pieces. You've got flowers in stone which have sort of dried and they've used them as magnets and that kind of thing. I thought they would have done the same thing with the Dino DNA with the mosquito. I thought that would look really nice. I'd have picked one of those up, but they didn't. Now, again, it was a Jurassic World experience, and they have only got, at the moment, the Jurassic Park different bits and pieces. I was kind of hoping that they might have had a Jurassic World top there because I have already got one of the Jurassic Park hoodies, and that was obviously the dino that I was talking about with regards to what is available in the shop, which is what that young lady was holding on to, and that was where the meet and greet character is. So potentially that might be a hot item when more and more people start to buy it. You can see you have got the little Raptor blue just up at the top, just there, and then you've got some more Jurassic World merchandise. So again, you've got keyrings, t-shirts, you've got mugs, you've got all sorts of different other little bits and pieces like bags, and then you've got the bigger teddy bears and things like that. And then you have just got this small corner of the little bits and bobs. But I really, really hope this does do well because I think it is a brilliant looking thing. Be interesting to see where else they could potentially do something like this around the world because Gardens by the Bay is the perfect place for them to set it up. And like I said, I was extremely lucky just to be here when this kicked off, but you can see some of the bits and pieces. They're not the cheapest. It's $36 for a t-shirt. I think the hoodie is 80 plus. I do believe $85 for a hoodie, and I am sure that is much more expensive than Universal Studios. But guys, that is it, and I am done. Let us know in the comment section below if you have been here or if you are looking forward to coming to Gardens by the Bay for the Jurassic Park experience. But if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care and have to catch you next one.